You're on.
Good, good morning, everyone. It is Monday, May 4th, and this is our premiere episode of the show Real Talk, which is Brave Moms Academy Live. And we have your host, Katie Johnson, and your co-host, Melissa Mahoney here, ready to rock after a few technical difficulties. Sorry, we're late. Today, Katie's going to go over, hopefully, a good overview of what Brave Moms Academy is, the work that we do inside our community. She's going to share some um, beautiful nuggets, as she always does. And hopefully, between two of us, we can come up with some great stories to share to help illustrate them. You ready?
Yeah, funny story. I have the live replaying in my ears right now, and I'm not able to get it muted, so I'm working on that.
Shoot.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Y'all, thanks for being patient. This is so funny. This is so funny. We gave ourselves a 2-week on-ramp practice going live so that on Monday, May 4, which is today, it would be seamless. And you know what's really funny is like some of the most difficult challenges that have happened going live happened today. So here we are. Um, I actually love it when the tech goes badly because um, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence and the violent take it by force. So this is always a sign to me that something really good is about to happen. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching live, I'm so excited to talk to you today because this work has radically transformed my life. I was laying in bed this morning actually thinking about this episode 1. We're calling this episode 1. We had like episode -7 and episode -5. Now we're on episode 1. Okay. So I was thinking about what to tell you on episode 1. And I realized I'm looking around the landscape of my life. I look at my kids, I look at their dad, I look at my relationship with my sisters and my parents and in volunteer and at work. And not only is there not conflict, there's a deep peace. Like I kind of pictured my life this morning as like sitting in the middle of a beautiful, in my mind, it was like, this is weird, guys. In my mind, it was like a tundra, this beautiful icy tundra desert with mountains in the distance and a lake in the distance. And it's just quiet. The landscape of my life is like a quiet canvas that I get to wake up every morning and create on. And it is because I've done this work. I can be myself in every arena without anxiety or fear. And when the anxiety or fear comes, I know exactly what to do with it. I know how to field someone's complaint about me with courage. It doesn't scare me. It tells me there's something true for us to uncover, but it doesn't tell me there's something wrong with me. I can't remember the last time that I had a conversation with somebody that left me thinking there's probably something wrong with me. And I know because I've been in this work for 3 years now that many of you just have this feeling deep down inside that there is something wrong with you. And that when push comes to shove, if you really pull back the layers of what you're feeling when you're in conflict, or if you set a limit with somebody and they melt down, or if somebody accuses you of not having a good motive, you genuinely believe deep down inside it's because there's something wrong with you. Can anybody say that's true? That you question your competency and your value, and either in your role as a mom or a wife or just a woman or a friend, or in simply who you are. I genuinely believed deep down, it took me a long time to admit it, but I believed I was like the special exception to the love of God. God paid for everybody else, but he didn't pay for me. There's something about me that is uniquely wrong, and I will never get it. If you resonate with that, I would love to see it in the comments because I want to make sure we're talking to the right women today. I'm going to tell you a story about elephants to tell you what we're doing on this podcast. Is that okay? Can I tell you a story about elephants? And the reason I'm going to tell you a story about elephants is this. If I know what's going on with you, how you find yourself here listening to this Brave Moms Academy podcast, it's because you care so much about the people that you love. Alyssa, that was you. Yeah. And did you also see what was possible for them that they were missing? Whether that was your child or your husband or your friends or your in-laws, you had this insight. You could see what they need to know about them that they're not catching. And take that a step further. So you have this incredible insight because God made you a woman. You have this fascinating brain that can see imagery and feel feelings. You know what's going on in you. You also have this wild compassion for people. You want them to win so bad. And you want them to feel better so bad. And you want to be close. So you've got this crazy insight. You have this deep compassion that is unsurpassed. I believe women in general tend to be the most compassionate species on the planet. And then there's this problem happening because you are not heard. So you see the issue, you want your people to win so bad, or to be closer to you, or to solve the problem so we can all be together in unity. But when you try to talk about it, you are not heard. Alyssa, can you just does that describe your experience? And is there anything you would add to that experience that you were having before you came here?
I think that's a great description. Nothing really came to mind to add. You're doing great.
Cool. Okay, we've got it. We're on it. So, now I'm going to tell you a story about elephants because I want to tell you how to be heard. And if I know you, you don't want to be heard so that you have all the power in the world. You don't want to be heard to go make millions of dollars, although that would be cool. You don't want to be heard to be the dictator and to be controlling. You want to be heard to make things better. You want to be heard because you love so hard. Okay, if this is you, you're in the right place. I'm going to tell you how to be heard by telling you a story about elephants. Are you ready? I learned this in the fall of this year and it changed my life. It's an image I walk around with every time there's a conflict or when I want to teach my kids something. This is the image in my head. I found out that elephants have 3 ways of talking to each other, 3 ways of communicating. One is a bark, kind of like a dog, like a loud, short call. Okay. Then there's a trumpet, which we've all heard. That's like an elephant. Alyssa didn't know I was going to trumpet today up in here. An elephant uses a trumpet to communicate, a trumpet call. Okay. Now, the third one that I learned about, and this is the one I want you to focus on, this is the one that changed my life, is called a rumble. And what a rumble is, it's a low frequency that an elephant makes it's such a low frequency in sound wave form that humans can't even hear it. So our ears can't perceive the sound of an elephant's rumble. It would be happening and you wouldn't know if you were by an elephant using a rumble. Here's the thing though, the rumble is so low that it actually shakes the ground and it travels for miles away from the elephant through the ground. And when the other elephants hear it, the one who is identified comes to the one who called, the one who sent the rumble. And scientists have actually discovered the reason that one elephant comes to the sound of the rumble is that the rumble is actually a name. So imagine you're wandering out in the neighborhood and you feel something through your feet that is specific. You feel it in your body and you know it's for you. This is how we get to communicate to the people that we love. And the reason that we can communicate to the people that we love in a way they feel inside the body and they know it's for them is that we know our own name. So what scientists discovered is this rumble is a name. And when the elephant hears their name, feels their unique rumble, they move toward the one who called. And that is what I want from my kids. I want to speak in a way that they are identified on the inside. They can't even maybe perceive it. They just feel something on the inside of them. When I'm around mom, I know who I am. And my instinct is to move toward her. I want I have a co-parent. I want your spouse. I want your husband. I want my former husband. When he hears me talk, I want him to feel something on the inside and move toward me. My boss, my team, my clients. This is the power of communication that is in line with who you are. The reason I can speak the name of my people is because I learned my own name. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? We're going to talk for a second about the word identity. Alyssa, stop me at any time. If you have clarifying questions or a story to tell, the floor is yours.
Ooh, one thing's coming to mind, actually. It just
Yay, go
happened
for it.
last night, this specific little moment with my kids. We were out to eat, and it was me and three of my four kids. And they started bickering and calling each other names. I can't even remember what it was about. They're just not being nice to each other. And my former tendency that I'm still growing out of is to be like, just knock it off. Like, why do you gotta be like that? Because it's wearing on us as moms. And you just, your heart, you want your kids to get along. You want your kids to love each other and encourage each other. It's such a special relationship siblings have in close proximity all the time. They know each other inside and out. Like, why not use it for good, right? I mean, I know you moms get this. Every mom thinks this way. And I found that rising up in me to just tell them to knock it off. And I thought, okay, I want to use this moment to tell them who they are, to speak to the good. Like, how could I say that instead? And I did say, that's enough. I said, we don't talk to each other that way. I said, the words that you're using, the tone that you're using sounds really rude and hurtful. And I said, you are not rude and you don't want to hurt people. I know that about you. I know that about each one of you. But that's what I'm hearing when you say it that way. And that was really it. It was a small moment. But they did all quiet down. It stopped. And then on our ride home, I just noticed this closeness with kind of the instigator of the situation. Um, I just noticed this like closeness with her on our ride home and the rest of the evening. Her coming to be here to me and telling me about what was going on in her head and her thoughts about the following day, like what she was going to do. There was just this like honesty and vulnerability, and I could just tell this comfort with me. After that moment, it seemed really significant that she heard me call out who she is and just scold her.
Dude, so good. And you had the clarity to do it because you've walked the path. You're like, oh, I'm bothered right now. What is that? And it probably happened really fast at this point in your life. You were like, oh, I'm bothered right now. Oh, wait, this isn't about me. Like, I'm going to go address this because there's an opportunity here for them to step into greatness and to learn how to reroute themselves over and over again. And that's my job. Oh, I love it. I was thinking a little bit this morning about our job as moms. I was thinking about how um I know that when I became a mom, I thought that this would be like a special kind of relationship that I would like put on my mom hat and be mom. And then my adult relationships would remain relationships. And it kind of blew my mind discovering years later that what's going on with my kids, between my kids and me, it's a relationship. It's not different. It's just that I play a different role in this relationship. In addition to just having one, I also play this role, which is trainer and equiper for them to be ready to be themselves and have a happy, fruitful, successful life. And once I got that, like, oh, the things like the triggers in me, why I'm losing it at them, why I'm agitated, why I second guess myself, all that is just my stuff that comes out in every relationship that I'm in. That's all just my stuff. Kind of separately from that, I have this role to overcome those things so that I can train them to be people who contribute to the world. So I love that story because you took the opportunity to be the trainer and you also dealt with your stuff in your relationship. Like, I'm not going to worry about how they come back at me when I say this because I've overcome my stuff and I know what I'm here to do. So rad. Okay. So, we're going to talk about the word identity for a second. The history, this blew my mind, you guys. I'm a super word nerd. I'm confessing to you that I am a word nerd. Okay. Numbers too. If you've been around me long enough, you'll know I have some stories about some numbers. Okay. This is so funny. I got to tell you this really quick. My son had a doggy when he was little. My parents, his grandparents, gave him a stuffed animal doggy, and he, I encouraged him because his attachment Stuffy, his pacifier, his attachment blankie was me. I was his attachment object. So when they gave him this Stuffy and he remotely appreciated it, I was like, hey, let's feed your dog at mealtime. Like I encouraged him to just bring it to every single thing we did because I was so needed out of being the attachment object. So I really worked him up into being connected to this Stuffy. And about day 3, I was very careful, but I was like, hey, does your Stuffy have a name? Does your dog have a name? And he goes, no, he doesn't have a name. He has a number. I was like, okay, he's 1.5. I said, well, what's his number? And without thinking at all, no time lost, he said 38. And so we still have, he's 13 now. That was at 1.5. We still have his stuffed dog. He brings it with him everywhere. 38 is the dog. I don't know why. Isn't that the funniest thing? So we are word and numbers nerds at my house. Okay. Unapologetic. I dove into this word identity because I wanted to tell you about it in a way that would leave you not the same after you heard about it. The word identity actually in its original form means same throughout. Before the word meant who or what something is, like your ID has your photo on it and it tells us where you live and how tall you are so that I can put the name to the face. I've ID'd you, right? The word before that in Latin, and I think in ancient Rome, I should do my homework and get my facts straight for you, but just know this, it meant same throughout, identity. Now, when I'm uncomfortable with something that's happening, let's say the pastor is preaching and he says a sentence that does not sit well with me, and I nod my head and I go, amen. How many of you know I just became not the same throughout? You can't take what I said and my agreement with him and match it up with who I am on the inside and what's honest. So I became disintegrated, not the same throughout, more than one part, right? But if the pastor says a statement that I'm very uncomfortable with, and this leads me to go, I'm going to go think about that. And then I dig into the history of the church and I find out there's some strange stuff here that I need to ask questions about. And I go ask those questions. I'm in my identity, same throughout. What I'm saying and doing matches what's going on the inside of me. And I think so often what happens with us, I know what happens so often with us is if we have a conflict on the outside, someone is doing or saying something that is icky, feels icky to us, and we just smile and go along with it. What's happening is I'm in agreement with my words with what's happening with them, either to help them to get them calm or to get them to feel good around me or to get them to like me or think something about me. But on the inside, I think or feel something different that I'm not representing. I'm living in more than one. I'm living more than one. I am disintegrated. Identity, same throughout. That would mean this heart here moved right inside this body and I was speaking what I meant. Now, this might sound really challenging to I second guess myself all the time, Katie. I feel so guilty when I set a limit. When I talk about how I feel, he says that I'm crazy or irrational. Like, you don't understand what's going on at my house. Let me tell you, I was the people pleaser of people pleasers. That's what destroyed my life. And it is why I'm in this work today. And there is a road that you can walk from disintegrated, which literally means death. Something that's disintegrating is quickly rotting and dying, all the way through to my identity. I know the sound of my name. And what I speak, you can take to the bank. It's what I really believe on the inside. And what I choose to do with my hours and days and minutes, they are aligned with not only the value that God has placed on my life, but my purpose and calling as well, who I am and what I'm here to do. And since we're on this side of heaven, we still live on earth. This is a journey that God is continually taking us on. So this is only going to increase in my life, that my hours and my minutes and my days are being spent in a more concise and dense way toward who I am and what I'm here to do. But there is a place, I call it the freedom line, where you're not second guessing yourself anymore and where you can be honest about what you think and feel. And instead of you making agreement with somebody else, but then having a conflict inside yourself, you eliminate the conflict inside yourself and allow people to feel the conflict between you so they can make a new decision about them. Y'all, the people around you must be faced with truth. That is their freedom. Your Bible says you will know the truth and the truth will make you free. So while you hide from your honesty and you make people feel better, you are quite literally keeping them in bondage. Is anybody hearing what I'm saying? Instead, if you live in the truth of who you are, your words will cause a rumble on the inside of them that they will know, oh, that's who I am. And not only will they know who they are, they will move toward you. Alyssa, have I said what we do here pretty well today? It's so hard because it is such a massive journey, and that journey makes such a massive impact that finding ways to tell it concisely is the great sport of my life. Is there anything you want to add? Any stories that come up or any just like, can you testify for a second about what's going on in here? And then I've got a final thought and we will wrap for the day.
Honestly, I think you did great. A great overview. I think it's a lot. I think someone hearing it for the first time, it's going to be a lot to chew on. And I think they're going to be hungry for what does this look like in real life? Nothing comes to mind right now, but I'm excited to come back tomorrow and the next day and bring these examples, not only my own, but we have so many women in our community right now that have just tons and tons of stories. And that's why we're going to come back every morning so we can share them with you.
Yeah, so exciting. Oh my gosh. I think about having walked this road and my fear at the beginning. I think about the first time I said no to somebody and I didn't explain myself because I just knew I need to line up with me at any cost. I just knew I cannot live everyone else's life another minute longer. I'm not going to make it. And so I was really thrown into this work very aggressively. And I just remember how much fear I had that if I really am honest and I really live my priorities and I do not apologize about that or justify it, I really thought like I was going to push people away. I thought that they wouldn't trust me anymore. I thought that I was going to cause hurt and that I was going to break relationships in ways that they could not be repaired. And I just want to encourage you, if you're listening to this and you're kind of coming to this for the first time, nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing could be further from the truth. It is the truth that makes us free. Christ does not apologize for the truth he has displayed for us and what he calls us forward into. And that is why we continue to be humbled and come to him to lead us. Because he says what he means, and he means what he says, and he is a reliable source that we want to follow. I think of the most inspirational people in my life are the ones who are the most intimidating because they do not apologize for what they believe and they don't compromise it to make me feel better. And they're full of compassion and they want to call me forward, but they're not budging on what that's going to take. My children's dad and my kids trust me more now than ever by far. And the relationships that I'm part of in ministry and work are so incredibly rewarding and fruitful because when you get me, you can take me at face value. And anyone who doesn't want that is welcome to opt out. But I'm telling you what, when you hear that rumble and you see someone living in the truth of who they really are, everybody wants a piece. That's what it's like. It is so magnetic. So I just want to encourage you, if you're feeling nervous about going down a road of honesty, this is called Real Talk. The show here is called Real Talk because we talk real and we talk about topics that other people may not. Y'all, we're going to talk about sex and sexuality in here. We're going to be talking about disrespectful kids and ADHD. We'll be talking about what other crazy things might we talk about in here on this show in the coming days, Alyssa? Stuff people aren't talking about. We're going to talk about lying, what lying really is. How many Christians are just walking around pretending, which is kind of the opposite of following Jesus. It's going to get real, y'all. We are hopeful and certain that some tables in your mind are going to get flipped the way that Jesus flipped tables when the temple had become a den of thieves. So stick around if you're hungry for something real. And we'll be back here Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. PST. I also want to tell you real quick before we go, if you are just so hungry and you've been around this for a little bit, or you're brand new, you're like, tell me the path. The membership that we have created is open to anybody who wants to go down that road of disintegrated and not totally clear and not honest, second guessing and guilt, to walking in their identity. There is an easy way for you to kind of DIY this. And also, we meet with our members once a week to answer their questions. So it's a 12-step communication curriculum that will take you down that path. And then we'll answer questions on a coaching call once a week. It's incredible. It's not going to stay at the investment point that it is right now because it's going to get too big. So there's going to be a link for that in the description. Another link that's going to be in the description for you is a form that you can fill out to ask any questions about what we talked about today or any other day you've ever heard us talk. And we will talk about your topic on this show. We are looking for the topics that you want us to talk about so that we can know where we're going every week. So please ask your questions, fill out the form. It'll take you 3 minutes. We'd love to hear from you. And until tomorrow, I think we're done here for the day. Is that correct? Yes.
Great.
See you tomorrow, brave people, for some more real talk.